morning, everybody. I'm actually on my way to the Columbus, Ohio Healing Humanity Meetup. And this should be fun. I've never been to a meetup before. This is going to be my first one, so I'm going to try and capture as much that I possibly can. And I expect it to be a good time. There's a list of special guests that are going to be there. I can't remember them all off the top of my head right now, but I do expect to see, naturally, Kerry Mann and Jen Mann, and I did see Dr. Kiltz being advertised on the website, so that'll be pretty cool. I talked to Dr. Kiltz a lot, but I've actually never met him face to face, so I'm looking forward to that.
You guys ready to hear some inspiring carnivore stories? The first one we're going to do, we have a little, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, we have a special video intro. And again, if you guys are recording and sharing all this, thank you, please do it, but please don't share any of the footage with anyone. A lot of this is exclusive, we're just sharing it with you. And also, I just wanted to say, I forgot to mention this earlier, huge thank you to Ashley, Carnivore Brothers, for setting this up, and Ed Coleman. Where's Ed? This was Ed's idea. Ed did a lot of planning around this too, so huge thank you to Ed and Ashley. I just want to say too, there's a couple of my favorite YouTubers are in the building now. I just noticed we got Robyn Herron, who's going to be speaking, Carnivorous Grandma, and Aaron Kilby. Aaron, I love Aaron's channel. Kilby Life. All right, we're gonna play another short video, and then we're gonna jump right into the speakers. You guys will figure out who the first speaker is, I think, by this video. So let's roll it.
This is the most amazing group to be part of, and I feel like I'm finally home in life. And so many people that are seeking healing, and who's ever suffered from a disease, needed drugs, a doctor dissection? Anyone? How about anyone never had a medical problem and never needed a doctor? And my sister Mary Ann had diabetes since age 4, and she suffered. She died at 52 of heart failure. But God blessed her with 2 amazing children. She was an amazing mom. And her son took care of my parents through their last 10 years of life at home, and they both passed away at almost 94. And I talk about them as if they're where? Right here. Because the only thing that matters is having faith in God. And where is God? Within all of us. It's truly a dream. And is it hard? It is. Is anything good in life come out of easy? No. It's supposed to be painful and stressful, but that's where you get the push and the passion of life. And I wanted to be a doctor after I broke a leg at 19. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Oh, my elevator speech. I grew up in LA, kicked out of school, and again couldn't read, father in jail. Now, my father got back to Jesus Christ in that 1 year he was there, the best thing that ever happened to him. But it took me a little longer to find JC. But I did. And through hardship, we build. And I went into medicine after breaking a leg and meeting a doctor that was really kind of cool. And I said, oh, I want to do that. Now, I went to the counselor's office, and I looked at what it took to be a doctor, and I was like, this is going to be hard, right? But I was up to the task, because it was really important for me to learn the techniques of being a doctor, right? And you know what a doctor learns? A doctor learns how to diagnose disease, and then what drug or dissection or other specialist doctors send you to, right? And in general, has healthcare costs gone up or down? Up. And more and more people seem to be getting sicker, and name a disease, heart disease, cancer, stroke, you know, all these things. Now, I'm a fertility specialist, and I focus on people suffering from being infertile, but things like early menopause or endometriosis or uterine fibroids, you know, those are just some of the things. But men and women seem to suffer the same. But why are we getting sick? it's idiopathic. Do you guys know what idiopathic means? We're idiots. The medical system is like, seems very idiotic, right? I was in my clinic yesterday in Albany, and a young woman was there to transfer embryos. And they were listed as abnormal embryos. They were genetically tested, and the report said they're abnormal and they will never become normal babies. So I'm one of the very few clinics in America that will allow her embryos to be transferred into her body because that's what she wants. But my other doctors refused to do it. And they told this woman, you're going to have an abnormal baby in the midst of about to do an embryo transfer. Does that make any sense? Now, what test in medicine is 100% accurate? You ever heard of someone being diagnosed with cancer and they're going to die in 3 months that live 30 more years? All day long. Now, I tried to rationalize with the doctors. Where did I get on that one? No, nowhere. Because they were certain that this embryo was going to be an abnormal baby, and it was his or her job to make sure that she did not suffer. Can doctors do that? No. Who can? The great Creator. Now, I don't know if anyone here has been to war. Anyone been to war, been in the service at all? But if you go into war in the service, are they handing you a medical journal or Scientific American to take to war, or the Bible? The Bible. And believe it or not, most doctors believe in God, but they don't use it in their day-to-day. Now, interesting enough, my clinic is one of the very few clinics that have transferred over 100 abnormal embryos. And it may actually now be over 500. Have we had any normal children out of that? Yes, we have. Embryos that never would have been transferred and would have been thrown away because we in modern medicine say, guess what? They're abnormal. They'll never be a normal child. Now, we've transferred, of those abnormal embryos, how many abnormal children have been born? 0. 0. And do you think I was able to rationalize with any of them? No, because doctors are very open-minded, aren't they? You know, even unfortunately in the keto carnivore world, we're very adamant about what we believe. And we often forget that we have opinions and beliefs and thoughts, but ultimately, it's just a made-up story, right? And you know how to make beer?
Yes.
How do you make beer?
Ferment.
Wine. Ferment. What do you ferment?
Alcohol.
Meat or plants? Plants. What's the recommended healthy diet for humans? Fruit, fiber, vegetables, seeds, nuts, salad, which I call nature's toilet paper. You can never wash it off, by the way. Right? It's kind of crazy, right? And they say, and they also tell women that red wine, if you're pregnant, lactating, is good for you. That's what the American Medical Association recommends for pregnant, lactating women. And by the way, they recommend it for all of us because it's heart healthy, right? How'd they get paid to do that one? You think it's money is the master rather than mommies, men? We're forgetting about the most important thing in life, which is what? I got 2.5 minutes. Let's see if I can do that.
Go for it. Babies.
Babies. Our children. And our children are suffering. Their parents are suffering. And so many people are suffering that aren't parents yet and want to be parents. And what's the most important piece? People are suffering. Yes, we have many diseases, but the number one thing is the reproductive problems that are on the rise, and infertility is on the rise. The number of children being born is dropping. Now, my daughter just had 1. I said, well, this is 1 of 10. What'd she say on that one? Now, You know, this is really crazy, but you make beer by fermenting plants. Where are you fermenting plants? In your gut. Do you know that brain fog, depression, anxiety is because we're fermenting plants? And is a low-fat diet good for you or bad for you? Bad. It's deadly for us. Fatty meat, rare to raw. What other animal cooks their food? What other animal asks other animal, hey, what should I eat today? Right? What macros do I need? What minerals and vitamins? Oh, did I get enough protein? Is there true knowledge that we can tell every human being you need X amount of grams of anything? Not one bit. That's why I usually say most of the science is snake oil, even in the keto carnivore world. If I got to listen to someone else tell me how I got to eat, nuh-uh. Now, I know that variety is what we all love, right? Variety. Right? Now, I usually ask those that are married or with their partner, would variety work in your relationship? And it doesn't work in our diet either. Now, I typically eat steak every day, typically ribeye steak every day, and it's rare to raw. It's fatty meat. Does fat on your body cause any disease? Zero. Obesity is linked to no disease. If there's a famine and no food, guess who survives? Fat. Why do we get fat? Because the brain is the smartest thing you have. It does not want you to die. Is it a very stressful world in our environment? Remember, all the things you watch on these devices, your brain believes it's experiencing it. So it's reacting as if it's happening in your life always. So it says you better get fat fast because there's something coming quick and you're not going to find any food. So, obesity causes no disease. Fruits and vegetables are deadly for humans. Fatty meat is the healthiest thing to eat. And fish, chicken, turkey, what's it missing? Fat. Like when we went hunting 50,000 years ago, did we say let's go chicken hunting? Like no. We went for the big beast and we carried the weapons and we brought a pack. Now, anyone ever seen my TEDx talk? We came out of the trees to eat the grass. Eaters, not the grass. We're massively intelligent but mighty dumb. You don't domesticate a wolf and a lion? You feed them plants. Do you know that all dog and cat food contains plants? How do you domesticate a human being? Plants and protein. Now, does any animal eat protein? Now, here I'm going to challenge you on that one. You either eat animals or plants. And in every organism, life form, are sugars, fat, and protein. You do not eat protein. You eat meat or plants. It's really kind of stupidly simple, right? That's why this protein kick right now is like crazy. I'm like, are we dumb? Look up protein poisoning. And by the way, protein is fermentable. So now, I'm really glad to be here, and this is the best, most amazing group, and Kerry and his family, and we're all family, by the way. This is the amazing craziness, right? We're all essentially out of the same human beings, however many infinite years ago, but we're all related. And when we look in each other's eyes, what do we see? God. Because God is us. And when you treat yourself like God, and then you treat the person in front of you like God, and all the people that are out there in these devices like God, we can have faith. And we can heal our brothers and sisters through healing humanity. And I'm proud. I've donated up to $100,000. I think I've already given 50, and we have maybe another 50 to give. But we're working to do this. And I'm blessed and lucky, by the way, to be able to do this. And as a doctor, I never went into medicine to make money. There's kind of a weird thing. It was sort of the specialty I went into accidentally. a fertility doctor. One day someone called me and said, you want to do a fellowship? And I'm like, sure. And then I didn't like it. And then I love delivering babies. I help people, love helping people. I'm a mechanic, basically, a builder. I love surgery, right? I'm a surgeon. But we've got to make the change. And suddenly I'm making a lot of money. I'm like, whoa. So I plow it right back into my business. I own and run one of the largest IVF centers in America, and I'm going to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Do I have 1 more minute?
Yeah.
Why am I going? Am I going there to tell them, yes, you got to make IVF more affordable and you got to send your business to me? No effing way. Because they're actually not very interested in IVF because people have some troubles with it. And I do too, by the way. And yet I practice it every day. But the first thing I want to teach everyone to do is become healthy naturally. So you can make love to your partner and conceive naturally. And this way of living is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And I always tell people, visualize the baby in your arms and have faith that God will deliver it. Eat fatty meat every day and feed your husband fatty meat every single day and tell him he's the most amazing husband ever created in the universe. And make love to him every day. And what that looks like, there's so many infinite ways to do that. And ultimately, we're forgetting that it's within each and every one of us. That love and kindness, right? Even when sometimes, I'm sorry, honey, I didn't mean to say that. Right? All we need to do is stand still for the moment and say, I love you. And we need to do it in the mirror every day. And somehow eating fatty meat, rare to raw, I know the raw sounds really crazy, but when you read Potter's Cats, you go like, you mean cats are sick because they eat cooked meat? Yes, they are. And so when you burn the wood before you build the house, what's the house going to be like? It's not going to work. And that's why, I know it's crazy, fatty raw meat is the best thing to eat. And when you want to suppress inflammation in the gut, you eat the fat. You ever notice butter never molds? Like, wow, how come? And everyone says, oh, you need your protein. BS. If you have no fat on your body and there's a famine, your fertilizer fast. And so this is my basic story. I'm here to share your thoughts and ideas, your questions, and where you're at, because you know, we're not different physiologically and biochemically. And if you think about it, anyone ever had poison ivy disease? Poison ivy disease. There isn't one. You're exposed to a chemical and a substance that makes you have an allergy, which causes redness, swelling, pain, and other dysfunction, right? We are just poisoned by plants, and that is it. It's not a difficult story. And when you go to your doctor, say, I'm a carnivore. Well, that's deadly for you. Don't you know that ribeye steak causes cancer? Don't you see ribeye steak in the toilet all the time? Never. Because it's digested in the top part of your gut. It's the first thing to get to your body and build the muscles and the fat that you must have on your body. And trying to be skinny, your brain is saying, are you dumb? Like, you're trying to be skinny. I know we're all trying to be skinny so we look a certain way, right? But ultimately being skinny is not what your body wants, because it's used to infinite times of famine, hibernation, migration, gestation, and more. Thank you for inviting me always and allowing me to be part of this family. I'm going to let Kerry take over from here and bring on more amazing speakers and share their stories. Thank you.
Dr. Kiltz. I love you, Dr. Kiltz.
What's happening? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Buckeye City. I'm the man, Russ Mitchell, Homesick, Buckeye. And I'm not homesick right now. Big Daddy from Cincinnati is in the building. So everybody's here, and got rock stars. Dr. Kiltz is there. Kiltzy,
I love you, Russ.
I know you do, man. Listen, Kiltzy's crazy. I love you, Russ. I love you, brother. He's like the WWE guy. He's always hyping stuff. You're a rock star, man. You're a rock star. No, Doc, no. You're a meteor, man. You're a meteor. You're in the atmosphere. No, did you say meat eater, Doc? No, brother. You're a meat eater. You're burning. I don't feel hot. I'm just trying to make it. So. But anyway, the mayor of Carnivore City. Kerry, appreciate inviting me. Healing Humanity. Shout out to them. Adam Lacy couldn't be here, but his cardboard cutout is right there. Same personality, so takes up less space. Nice job on here. But listen, I'm not going to be long because Doc was. But, he took his time with mine. But that's all right. It's better for everybody because nobody really wants to hear what I have to say. But it is a blessing, man, to be able to put smiles on people's face. And I'm just glad they invited me here. And that's what we do on my channel, Homesick Buckeye. I can't out-doctor these guys. I can't out-coach these guys. But come get these jokes. I got jokes. They say laughter's like a medicine, so that's what I bring to the table. As far as my story, I don't think it's that inspirational, to be perfectly honest with you. I've been carnivore for 15, maybe 20 minutes now. I'm going to try to make it to an hour, but there's an ice cream shop right there. No, I'm just kidding. One thing I can definitely say for sure, and I mean this, and this is not a joke, this is like the 1% of the time I'm not going to joke. I don't think I'd be here without ketogenic living. I just don't. I was circling the drain a couple of years ago, and I still have my struggles, but my story is still being written. It really is. So I don't have an inspiring story, but I can tell you my story is being written, and one thing I know for sure, it will not take as long as this damn movie. So, but take a shout out to the way out. He approved that joke. He approved that, all right? So I thank y'all for coming, as always. Appreciate all of you. Keep the support, keep the love together. We all need it. And God bless you.
All right, I'm starting my timer now. We'll try to do right. My name is Robyn Herron, and I am your carnivorous grandma. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you, Kerry and Adam and Ed, for inviting me. I just want to say I'm so thankful that my husband is here with me. I'm going to cry. Thank you. I'm so glad that Jamar is here and Angelica is here, my daughter. And I'm very just grateful to be in your presence today. I do have a joke. I'm not a jokester necessarily, but I do find myself quite hilarious. So I went to ChatGPT and said, give me a joke for these people, please. Carnivore Meetup rule number 1. If you brought chicken, don't even bother checking in. That's the salad of meat. All right. So I started carnivore 913 days ago, February 22nd, 2023. And I was sick. I didn't even realize how sick I was when I got started. I actually watched Dr. Berry, who went from keto to carnivore. And I was keto for, thank you. I was keto for 5 years straight. I did so good on keto. I thought I felt amazing on keto, actually, but I still struggled with cravings. And if you don't recall, just a few years ago, we started to see a bunch of keto treats coming on the market, all kinds of different things. I made all the things, didn't I, honey? I made all the things. I made all the cakes and the pies and the cookies. I made the cornbread. I made all of the things. And I found myself doing Cheeto, what I call Cheeto, for the next 5 years. So a total of 10 years between keto and Cheeto, and I was sick. What button do I click?
Right here.
Right there.
Right at him.
Okay.
There you go.
That's me. I had eczema so bad. I had such terrible eczema. And no matter how much weight I lost, and I did all the diets, you know, the only reason I didn't do a diet was because I didn't know about it or it was too expensive. I was like, I'm not paying for that. But every time I did a diet, I would lose so much weight. I even found myself down to like 130 pounds, 125 pounds, but my face looked like that. And that is the look of insulin resistance and eczema. My hands, I had dyshydrotic eczema. I still do have dyshydrotic eczema, and I find that there are some foods that I can eat that cause that to flare up. I recently got my hands on some half and half. And I thought, oh yeah, I can try some half and half today. It's gonna be all right. The next thing you know, dyshydrotic eczema in my hands. And the doctors told me that this was not food related. This was not food related. There's nothing you can do. They put me on the steroids, they put me on the pills, they put me on all the shots. I mean, I had shots into my hands and everything. And when I went to go get fingerprinted to travel out of the country, I did not have fingerprints. They were like, we can't pull a print on you. This dyshydrotic eczema was so bad. So I guess the thing that I think about with eczema is that it seems like a simple thing, but it's super, super complicated, and it's food related. It's really food related. I cannot have cheese. And I used to say, what is a life without cheese? I don't even want to live a life where I can't have cheese because I love pizza. Well, today I'm trying to love the foods that love me, and dairy does not love me. All right, so that was the biggest thing. The thing that was out there for the world to see on my face every day, no matter what, you know, I found this stuff, it was called concealer. And I would conceal my face to cover up those dark, I looked like I got punched in the eye every day. And that was really challenging. I also had severe sleep apnea. I was obese. I'm still overweight. So, I mean, I still am working on my metabolic syndrome. You know, and I'm still a little bit overweight. I mean, but I think it's all right. I'm not worried about the weight anymore. In fact, when I started the carnivore diet, I thought that I was starting it to lose weight. You know, I was like, I'm just gonna take my time. I'm gonna do 90 days. I'll be doing 90 days, and then I'm gonna, you know, I'll start incorporating some stuff back in. And I found out when I tried to add a little bit of vegetable, a little bit of plant material, my anxiety would shoot through the roof. I mean, I was in a bad state to the point where I thought I would not be able to drive my car. And I went to the doctor and told her to put me on some medication because I'm not gonna be able to function. She did. A year later, after 3 months on carnivore, I just weaned myself off of that anti-anxiety medicine. The plants gave me anxiety, severe anxiety, debilitating. I had high blood pressure, which they also put me on a medication for, and I will say that I cured my hypertension with a ketogenic diet. Before I even found carnivore, keto allowed me to get off of hypertension medicine. And so I would say the biggest shocker that I had was seasonal allergies. Does anybody have seasonal allergies? Okay, so I started in February. You know, by March, I should have been sneezing and snotting and choking and all the things just like everybody else that was around me, but turns out my seasonal allergies went away. Who knew seasonal allergies were caused by plants? That's crazy. That is crazy. So if you have seasonal allergies, stay the course. Stick with your meat-based way of eating. And I believe that you will not have seasonal allergies anymore. So many things have been cured. But the main thing I want to say is that Kerry Mann is the reason why I have this YouTube channel in the form that it is in. Because I was watching YouTube. You know, when you get onto a way of eating, you start watching all the YouTubers who are doing it, right? Kerry was climbing up on this pergola talking about how great he felt, and I thought, this dude is crazy. Let me check him out. And he said to me, Robyn, if you're on carnivore, you need to start a YouTube channel. That's what I heard. You need to start a YouTube channel. So I started my channel because I did not see anybody in this space that looked like me that was doing carnivore. Now that's starting to change. I'm starting to see additional people, more people of color that are doing carnivore YouTube channels and talking about the amazing benefits. But you know, we got to stay the course, right? 219 days is literally nothing. It's a drop in the bucket of all the time that I spent hurting and harming my body. All right, so that's my channel, Carnivorous Grandma. If you're not subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And do I have another one? Do I have another?
Yep.
Okay, great. So next weekend, we are going to be having a meetup in Kalamazoo.
I think I have to play.
Okay, yeah, we're going to be having a meetup in Kalamazoo. And we are bringing in some good doctors. I think God for Dr. Kiltz coming in. Dr. Tony Hampton is going to be there. All right, let's go ahead and play the commercial. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you, Robyn.
Thank you, Kerry. I was waiting for more jokes. Is that all you got?
I got more.
So yeah, if those of you that don't know me, I know there was a few people that don't know me. Obviously, there's the information right there. I am a cinematographer extraordinaire, I guess, with this project, with the documentary. So my carnivore journey actually started because I have an autoimmune condition called vitiligo. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's if you see people that have pigmentation on their skin that's white, that's basically what it is. It's got a funny name, I didn't name it. But that's why I started. I had vitiligo around my waist. I'm not going to show anybody pictures of that today. That's private. But it did start to spread to other areas on my body. So my business partner actually, he had contracted prostate cancer. He's going to be here a little bit later, actually. So he went on a raw vegan diet because a friend of his, 17 years prior, went on this diet, a specific protocol, and he was still alive. So he had got rid of his prostate cancer. It was in remission. So he started this diet because he believed that was what was going to fix his cancer. So I said, dude, I got you. I hate vegetables. I absolutely can't stand vegetables. I was on a standard American diet at this time. So I said, I'm going to do this in solidarity with you, and embarked on this gross journey of eating raw vegetables. During that time, during that 2 years, my vitiligo actually started to spread to my arms. And then I started to wonder, like, how far is this going to go? Is it going to end up on my face and end up being some sort of an issue, talking to you folks here, looking at me like all weird and everything. So, my carnivore journey essentially started because of vein reasons. I didn't understand at the time that I was metabolically unhealthy. I had no clue, no idea what anything had to do with nutrition, that this was actually food that was doing this. I can't say for certain that the plants was actually doing this and making the spread here, but I can say it did get worse after I started this raw vegan diet for 2 years. So what does any good red-blooded American do? They go to YouTube University and Google MD to try to figure out what's wrong with them, and did a search, found Joe Rogan here. Joe Rogan has the same autoimmune condition, and he said that he started to actually reverse this, eating a carnivore diet. And I thought, well, what is a carnivore diet? That's like the strangest thing, right? This is what animals eat. I had no idea what this was, and did a little bit more searching. I think this has a laser. Yeah, Dante Ferrigno here. Found his story, his incredible story of transformation. He wasn't selling anything. He looked like death warmed over at the beginning of his videos, and then at the end, I mean, he's like a rock star, and he's saying, just eat meat, just eat meat. I thought this was the craziest thing ever. So found Dr. Barry, and a medical doctor that endorsed this way of eating, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna give it a try. Jump in, he says, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's what I did. Went to the store, bought all that stuff, jumped in both feet. I didn't, well, I don't think that I did the thing with don't trust a fart in 30 days. So it came close, but yeah, that was definitely me because I jumped in. I'm an all or nothing kind of a person. So anyways, that's the whole reason I started the carnivore diet, was just to stop the spread of this thing. And I could never have expected what was going to happen in the coming months. Like, it just absolutely blew me away. So 5 months in, my vitiligo is actually reversing. So it's still in this same state. It hasn't gotten any better than this. But as you can see, 80 pounds down. I had yo-yo dieted for years and years. I yo-yo dieted for years and years and years, and I finally just gave up. I didn't start for weight loss, and it's gone, and it hasn't come back, and it's absolutely amazing. Plantar fasciitis, I spent hundreds of dollars on special shoes, boots, to get rid of the pain, and nothing ever worked. And 5 days into eating this way, that was gone, completely gone away. So that helped me get through that first 30 days, because it was a struggle in the restroom. So osteoarthritis, pain, gone. Depression, anxiety, gone. And so the most shocking part really is we got to rewind to 2017, which 6 years prior to starting the carnivore diet, I was in a huge crash on Interstate 75 going south into Dayton. I'm sure some of you probably have been there. Traffic was stopped early in the morning. I was on my way to my controls engineering job. And so we came to a stop, but coming behind us is this semi, right? He's a 53-footer loaded with a full load of steel, did not hit the brakes. And I was the third vehicle in line of 4 that got totally demolished. I don't remember what happened once I got hit. I suffered a traumatic brain injury during that event. Unfortunately, the first person in line, it was a fatal crash for them. So they said that my truck actually went up that embankment wall, came back down. I have no idea. So, but anyways, as a result of that head injury, I had balance issues. If I closed my eyes standing up, I would fall clean over. I had severe migraines, cognitive issues. I had vertigo, so at night I'd have to make sure that lights were on and things like that. So I didn't get dizzy and get sick. What else? Oh, motor tics. So if any of you have seen somebody that has Tourette's syndrome, their head will jerk and things like that, and they have a tic. I developed that as a result of this head injury. And it was very embarrassing to be out in public, and cognitively, once my brain was overloaded, my head would start jerking and I couldn't control it. That added to the depression and the anxiety. So lo and behold, 5 months in, that actually healed itself. Some may argue that, but so yeah, I was told that this was permanent brain damage, that this would last effectively until the end of my life, and you know, I was blown away that this was even possible. It happened gradually over a period of 5 months. I didn't even really notice it until one day I'm like, wow, I'm not having these motor tics anymore. I mean, it would be points where you'd walk down like long corridors or hallways, and just that perspective would spin me into vertigo. It was insane. So to have that go away just by eating a ribeye a day, it just absolutely blows my mind. So as a result of that, I got a high amount of clarity with absolutely everything, and it gave me hope that if this could happen to me, it could happen to somebody else. So this man, Kerry Mann, had a video, and he said, we need to do a documentary on this, right? He's just really excited about it, and I thought, you know what, that's absolutely what we need to do. So I reached out to him, 75,000 subscribers. I'm like, this guy's not gonna answer me. within 24 hours, he actually responded. And my message to him was, hey, listen, I think that we need to do this. That's a great idea. I'll do anything. I'll sweep the floors. I am an employer, and I know what it is like to have a good employee. I know what it's like to be a good employee, so I'll do whatever I can to bring what I can to this project. So I was in photojournalism for over 10 years. I've been on some of the biggest stages in the world with sports. I've photographed presidents, dignitaries around the world. I was never in video, but I did have experience with sports. Some of you can probably recognize some of these local sports teams. Blue Jackets, Buckeyes, OHIO. Exactly. So some of these shots are just, I mean, I've been in some really incredible positions with this line of work, but the top left up here, that is Tiger Woods shooting a PGA tournament. He missed a putt on the 18th hole and threw his putter, like whizzed right by my head. Yeah, I almost became a millionaire. Almost, close. So here's just a few more shots of photos that I've taken. Zeke Elliott here, like to walk up to me and do the framing. So that's how I came on board with this project. Was I brought the creative eye, lighting, and the technical aspects for the documentary. And so when you watch all this footage, just keep that in mind. I've never shot video before in my life. So I and Kerry, well, both of us, neither one of us have done a documentary. So we really feel like that somehow, some way, we are doing God's will. We're following in this path that we're being led on. And all of you are a part of this journey with us. And we accept your energy and we love your support for everything. So in this process, we have so many people that actually come to us like, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I eat? What am I supposed to eat? What am I supposed to shop for? We were inspired to start the membership site, healinghumanity.life, in order to answer those questions in bulk. So we have 10 Zoom calls a week. This is not a sales pitch, by the way. This is just to let people know that this is more of a movement than it is a film or anything else. So our whole goal is to help others and get them healed, and we're just doing the best we can in the way that we can. So as part of this, where's Lynn's books? So I wanted to let you guys know, Lynn DeVoke, our production coordinator, and she's our site administrator for healinghumanity.life. She's actually wrote these books, Breaking Addictions. We believe it's the first of its kind based on the 12-step program strictly for carnivore, so low carb, high fat. So other 12-step programs, if you don't know, is Alcoholics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, whereas Overeaters Anonymous, they focus on food restriction, calorie restriction, things like that. Now, obviously, we all know we don't want to do that. We want to eat a different way. So this is based on this way of eating. She's put a lot of work into this. Those books there's no profit on them. Basically, it's just enough to pay for the actual printing of the book. It is designed to be gone through with a group, so you can go through that with our group. We're exploring making this possibly a public thing, but right now we're staffing kind of prevents that. So, anyways, that's healinghumanity.life. There's a card on all your tables if you want to join. There's a discount code. So I want to leave you with this. If you've ever fell, what they say, fell off the wagon with eating this way, you didn't really fall off the wagon. We're all carnivores, right? We're all heavily animal based. So your wagon may have slowed down a little bit because you ate a little bit off plan or whatever. You're still on the wagon. Don't believe that you fell off that wagon. So stay the course. Trust that your body wants to live. It wants to do what it does. You don't have to tell it what to do, which is absolutely incredible. And then if you do that, you can live the impossible and you can heal the impossible, like I did, which I didn't believe I could heal. So that's it. Thank you.
Someone put a timer for 10 minutes.
It's right.
And it's probably run over.
Dr. Nelson, it's right back there.
Oh, okay. All right, let me do this. I just texted my wife. I'm about to speak. She said, break it like. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of the carnivore world. I get no respect. But, you know, how many of you came to see Dr. Nelson here? Oh, I really don't get any respect. You see, so Robyn said, oh, we're going to have Dr. Kiltz, we're going to have Dr. Hampton. She didn't invite Dr. Nelson. Where's no, I do want to talk a little bit seriously, and I was going to leave the jokes out, but, you know, we're at the funny bone. I'll never be invited here again for a routine, but I gotta mention that as you can see up there, I work for Dr. Kiltz Health. I'm the medical director of Kiltz Health. And I sometimes make jokes about him. And Jen was upset, where's Jen? That I make jokes about him because she loves Dr. Kiltz. But I gotta mention, because he's older than me. I'm not that young either, but he's older than me. He's so old that when he went to school, there was no history class. It was called current events. One of his first jobs when he was young, he was a waiter at the Last Supper. His social security number, he can show it, it's 1. And his birth certificate is carved in stone. He has a typical time carrying it. All right. So, enough with the jokes. But about 7 years ago, one of the things that happened to me was I had a stroke. I had multiple things that happened after the stroke. Most of them I have recovered. I'm still struggling with one of them because with a stroke I developed a Spanish accent. It still hasn't gone away. So, I want to take a minute to talk about this because I think we need to all strive to be perfect. And I'm serious about that. We should do the best that we can do to be perfect, with the understanding that it's very likely you're not going to do everything perfectly, right? But strive and forgive yourself when you're not. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm so close it scares me. My wife does remind me every so often, every day, that I'm not perfect. Who here is perfect, by the way? Well, we already established you're not. I joke a little bit about Mr. Perfect over here because he's a perfect carnivore, Kerry Mann. But it's good. It's good to try and be as close as possible to be perfect. Most of the past 40 years, that's been me. Stroke 7 years ago, like I mentioned, diabetes, hypertension, plantar fasciitis, gastric reflux, eczema, nail fungus, and a long list of other things. 3 years ago, I was falling. I couldn't walk more than 50 to 100 feet. I had lumbar spinal stenosis with neurogenic claudication, which basically means I had that terrible bad back. And it was getting worse. And at that weight, you know, I couldn't even bend down. Those were not the bigger pants. And by the way, that's not the biggest I've been. But when you're that big, you don't want to take pictures. So I don't have a picture of, I remember exactly what I was and when I was bigger than that. And my biggest pants, these I'm holding there are 54. I did wear 56, but I couldn't find them. So there've been moments bigger than that. I reversed all the conditions I mentioned. Most of it got better with keto. I went for 6 months with keto, and I was a professional weight loser on the yo-yo train. 40 pounds off. I can go back to eat whatever I wanted. 40 pounds again, up and down. But by the middle of 2023, I had lost about 40 pounds, and things were getting a little bit better until I went to have my eyes checked. And the optometrist told me, hey, you have some macular edema, and I said, okay, I gotta do something. And of course, I'm a doctor. I've been a doctor for almost 41 years. At the end of this year, will be 41 years I've been a doctor. So of course, as a doctor, I went and researched all the literature found on YouTube University. And I find people were eating meat only. That's crazy. I already knew about Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. Not that many more, but that's what I thought. They were crazy. I mean, you can't eat only meat. You are meant to eat other things, like the fruits, the nuts, and the vegetables. So on my journey, on my highly academic research on YouTube, I find this guy in the middle of nowhere. I'm repeating his words, I'm not putting him down. Guy, this homesteader in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, talking about the carnivore diet. I said, wow, I want to try that. So I jumped right in. Oh, by the way, yeah, if I didn't mention it, over 100 pounds, 110 or so. But that's what people see, and they think that's the whole story, okay? Feeling better, having quality of life. I was on my way to a wheelchair and not having to deal with so many things that were keeping me down. That's the most important thing. Quality of life. Do I know for sure that this way of eating is gonna extend my life one day? I have no idea. I may be dead tomorrow. I may be dead of a heart attack, and everybody's gonna be saying, oh, the carnivore diet killed him. My dad lasted 92 years. Maybe I'll be 92. Maybe I'll be 67 like my mom. Maybe I'll be 110. I have no idea. Any of you have any idea how long you're gonna live? No. But if we can live this life with a better quality of life, that's goal, okay? So I have improved by eating this way. I feel much better eating this way. If I live longer, at least I'll live longer feeling better. And if I don't live longer, I'll still feel better about it. Anyone here? Well, I know she has been carnivore for only a few hours apparently. But anybody else contemplating doing something like this? Because it's crazy. But try it. Give it a week, give it 30 days, give it 90 days. I challenge you because you're gonna feel better. And you're gonna discover things you didn't think were gonna get better, right? Some people do it because they want to lose weight, and then the anxiety lives. The schizophrenia gets better. Bipolar illness, multiple sclerosis, all the autoimmune diseases, they seem to get better. Do I have any proof that yours is going to get better? No, I don't. You don't have to ask permission from your doctor. I guess I have a few seconds. You don't have to ask permission from your doctor to change what you're eating. Eat meat. That's it. Okay? Now, did I mention that when I went to the eye exam, my macular edema, that little kid there was in mama's belly? Mama is my daughter-in-law. He's my son's son. And I said, I gotta see my grandson. So, that's not my only why, but it's part of my why.
Okay. Well, originally when I decided I was going to do this, get up here and speak to everyone, I said to my wife, I'm going to just do this off the cuff and just get up there and just say my story. And then last night I had like a nightmare. Am I dressed right now? Just making sure, because in my nightmare I was not. So around 4:30 this morning I woke up and I said, I've got to write this down, because if not, I'm going to be a bit scatterbrained. I'm going to start going off this way, I'm going to start going off this way, and no one's going to get anything out of what I say. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being here and taking a chance on seeing what this lifestyle is all about. Healing humanity is exactly what this lifestyle is all about. If anybody doesn't know this, that 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. That only leaves 7% of the rest of the Americans to be healthy, and maybe even not that much. So if we can just get 1% better after this meeting, that'd be great. Or if we can just touch one person and have them change their whole life around, that'd be great. Maybe it'll take 2 or 3 more of these before that happens. But I did go ahead and write all this stuff down so that I wouldn't forget the journey that I've been on. This is my 3-year carniversary. So, as my hat says, meet my food. It is a steer on there, so I pretty much eat 10 or 12 eggs every morning and a ribeye steak in the afternoon, and I'm good to go. So I'm just going to start from the top. I'm terrible at reading, so if I mess up, just make fun of me later. Gosh, this is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Let me see if I can turn it so I always get bigger words. Oh, there we go. Well, let me see what slide we got here. Right. Oh, roll, that's left. Oh wait, I'm putting it upside down. That's right. There we go. Okay, this is my channel for sure. I started this, again, like Robyn. I was at that same meetup with Robyn in Chicago, Illinois. We met each other then. She's a beautiful lady, has a beautiful husband over there. Ooh, I said beautiful husband, but he's a beautiful man. Anyway, Kerry said the same thing to me. Oh, just document. I said, Kerry, I don't have a YouTube. I don't really do social media that much. He said, oh, no big deal. Just start a YouTube channel. And he said, if the only thing you can do is show what you're eating, just do that. Show what you're eating. So for the first year, I just put up what I was eating. Sometimes there's music to it. Sometimes it's a good video. Sometimes it's a terrible video. Mostly terrible videos. But I'm not as tech savvy as these other ones. So I don't have a whole lot of extra, flair to my slides. But this is my original why to get into the carnivore lifestyle. This is my cousin Brad. He was diagnosed with esophageal cancer and has since passed, but I'm going to tell you that in this story. I'm going to leave that up there for now and I'll just go. This is my carnivore journey. I started in August of 2022 with a cancer diagnosis, but it wasn't mine. This is when I learned my cousin Brad was having health issues. We were only a couple weeks apart in age, even though I was just a few weeks older than him. He was someone I always looked up to when we were growing up. On one hand, you had Brad. To me, he seemed to be one of the straightest edge people I'd ever known. He was super kind and loving. He had a great job and a beautiful family. He didn't drink or smoke or do drugs of any kind. On the other hand, there was me. I drank alcohol, I smoked lots of weed, I experimented with many different drugs over the years of my life, and I ate a completely garbage diet. This was about to change. He was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, so I thought I was going to be the one to help him heal, so I started researching diets that might be good for a cancer diagnosis, because I was determined to be the one to save him from the problem. This is when I came across the Carnivore Code by Paul Saladino, trader. And I started reading it. Then I found Dr. Ken Berry and all his proper human diet videos on YouTube. I read more books, like Lies My Doctor Told Me by Dr. Ken Berry, Toxic Superfoods by Sally Norton, The Carnivore Diet by Dr. Sean Baker, Carnivore Cure by Judy Cho, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind by Dr. Georgia Ede. And then I found more people. Dr. Chafee, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, Dr. Boz, Dr. Westman, Dave Mack, Kelly Hogan, just to name a few. I was convinced this lifestyle was going to be the way to save my cousin. So I decided to jump right in and take the Dr. Berry's 90-day challenge of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. I had no idea the impact it would have on my life. I still have no idea. You see, I was suffering from poor diet and lifestyle up to this point in my life, but I had done like so many others and just thought all my problems were related to my age, how hard I worked, and how hard I played. For context, I was 47, working in restaurants my whole adult life, putting in 12+ hour days on my feet 5 days or 6 days a week. I would come home with neuropathy in my hands and feet. I would eat garbage before, during, and after work. I would party until the late hours, get a poor 5 hours or 4 sometimes of sleep, sometimes not sleep at all, and do it all over again the very next day. Needless to say, my gut health was also terrible. I would go to the bathroom several times a day. I spent 30 minutes or more on the toilet each time I went, often experiencing blood in my stool. Of course, I just thought this was probably normal for a guy my age, especially with the nefarious activity I was engaging in. So, of course I was wrong, because this 90-day challenge became the silver lining of my life. In the first few weeks, I suffered with the keto flu, but pushed forward. Thank God I did, because that is when all the magic started to happen. A fog lifted from my brain that I never knew I had. I could just really think clearer. My joint pain in my hands, feet, shoulders, and knees just went away just out of the blue. Now you're just like walking one day and you're like, wait a minute, what happened to that little crick in my knee? Why does my shoulder feel? I've had bursitis in that shoulder for 25 years. Wow. I was totally sleeping better, and all of my productivity had skyrocketed. I was probably the #1 server in my restaurant to begin with, and now nobody could catch me. So everything got easier during this period, except one thing. The one thing is, my cousin lost his battle with cancer. In February of 2023, this is when I lost my way again. So I went to my cousin's wake, and there was all this great food and all this great family, and I thought, I'm just gonna enjoy it. And that went on for several months. I enjoyed those several months in a very terrible way. I started eating garbage, which led to drinking, which led to more drinking, which led to using weed again to make myself feel better from the drinking. So until a few months by, then I regained focus from a new person I saw online. I bet you can't guess what his name was. Kerry Mann. Sorry, it makes me tear up. But he was so inspiring. He absolutely lit my spark again, and I went back to the carnivore lifestyle. Only this time I was still doing it dirty. I found that I could still drink alcohol as long as it was vodka and soda. I could still enjoy weed as long as it was a sugar-free gummy. So I was living a dirty carnivore lifestyle, but I was getting all those amazing benefits. Late that year, I attended my first meetup. It was Kerry's first organized meetup featuring Dr. Tony Hampton. What an inspiring man that guy is. I convinced my beautiful wife, Molly, right here in the crowd, to go with me to Chicago to meet these people who had inspired me to get back on track. We had one of the best experiences, an awesome ride to Chicago and meeting up with Kerry and all the people there. My friend over here, you met just a little bit ago. Well, just like I said before, Kerry convinced me to share my journey online. So I went home from that experience a changed person. I wanted to shout out from the rooftop how great this life is. Unfortunately, people thought I was crazy. When I told them what I was doing, so eating meat and eggs and getting healthy, they'd say, yeah, right. They'd say, what about your cholesterol? What about fruits and vegetables and stuff? You can't go on living like that. You're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna die. Well, I didn't know the answer to these questions, but I pressed on. So each day I would continue to feel better and better. The longer you live this lifestyle, the more changes your body and mind continues to make. For the remainder of 2023 and all of 2024, I continued on with my dirty carnivore lifestyle. I started doing intermittent fasting. This changed into long-term fasting, which changed everything again, because now I could not drink or use weed during these fasting periods. I quickly learned that I no longer needed these things like I thought I did before. So then I found a YouTuber by the name of Lauren Knight Hughes. She spoke on alcohol and how it controlled her mom's life and her own. She was going to be at a meetup in Austin, Texas in March of 2025. I said, babe, I gotta go. She said, you're gonna go see another woman without me? I said, babe, I gotta go. She said, get on the plane. So I had to meet her. I went to Austin. I met her, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, of course, the Rodney Dangerfield of the carnivore lifestyle. And I was so inspired by all the people and the energy in the room, and I couldn't wait to go to another meetup. See, in Columbus, I had been isolated without other like-minded people to talk to about this way of living. My only outlet up to this point was following people on YouTube. Now, I really wanted to help others find this way of living. My new addiction was to go to these meetups and talk to all the people who have changed their lives with diet and lifestyle. And I think I met pretty much all of you today as you came in. I think that's my favorite spot, checking you in, because this one right here is a little bit scary. Well, I also dreamed that we could have an event like these in Columbus, Ohio, so I set out to make it happen. Since Austin, I've attended several other meetups, including Yuma, Tennessee, where I volunteered to help in April of this year. Meeting Dr. Berry for the first time. He is a huge man. We talked about it. Yep, and he's very warm too. And of course, Dr. Berry does save lives. Along with that, I met Dante Ferrigno, Kerry's inspiration. Thank you, Dante. Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, the carnivore eye doctor. Carnivore Ray Hicks, who has a very inspiring message for a lot of people out there. I hope that he connects with a lot of younger folks. Ashley Rogers, mom and dad, who just absolutely stole my heart. What a beautiful couple, beautiful kids. Ashley and his brother. Christopher Branlin, the carnivore lawyer at the time, and now the aspiring congressional incumbent. I met many other people as well. And then I got home and I said, babe, I got invited to Boston. I think I'm going to Boston. She said, when's my turn to go on vacation? I said, you can come with me. No, I'll just stay here and watch the dogs. All right. So she put me on the plane again, and I had the honor of volunteering with the Kiltz Health to see the world-renowned cancer expert from Boston College, Professor Thomas Seyfried. And his mitochondrial metabolic theory of cancer. It blew me away. I always thought it was genetic. Turns out it is not. Dr. Annette Bosworth was there, kind of his lackey, a ketogenic guru who helped her mom regain her life back through basically learning from Dr. Seyfried. Dr. Stow, a thyroid specialist I'd never heard of, but a carnivore and very smart. Then I found myself in Las Vegas, Nevada to support my new friend Christopher Branlin and my mentors, Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Nelson. Dr. Nelson, you're not forgotten. I met so many new friends along this journey and hope to continue this lifestyle forever. Just last week, I decided to get my blood work done so that I could answer those questions about my cholesterol and other important markers people want to challenge. Once I go over the results with a clinician, I will share with the world how I'm doing on paper. But in the real world, I'm doing great. I would like to give a big thanks to the Healing Humanity team, Kiltz Health, Mr. Steiner and the Funny Bone for this space, as well as all of you attending today. It's all about faith, family, and food freedom. May God bless us all. Thank you very much. And one more thing. I think it got erased. No big deal. But I wanted to just thank my cousin Brad for being a part of my life and really through his illness changing my entire life. This is what I used to look like. You can tell it's a little bit different. Maybe just a hair. But have we? Have we ever found that? Thank you all very much.
I was 100 pounds heavier in that picture, and believe it or not, those were all of the medications I was on for many years. Statins, medications for my heart, medications for gout in my foot, sleep medications, all sorts. I was not very happy in that picture. My biggest issue was depression and anxiety. My wife Jen and I have been together for 30 years now. I had another joke, I don't know if I should say it or not. Jen and I were happy for 14 years, and then we met. Dr. Nelson likes that one. Well, that was us at age 14. We've been together for 30 years. At age 15, 1 year after that picture was taken, was when my health started to take a turn. I was actually, this is probably too graphic, but I don't care because we're carnivores. I was going number 2 in the bathroom in the hole. I turned around to look at my work, which, you know, all of you look at your work, and the toilet was filled with blood. I was rushed to the emergency room, and it was the start of many, many health issues. The happiest moment of my life, the biggest blessing, literally winning the lottery, was having my children, my daughter Lily, and then the triplets after that. The sad part of this picture is, at that moment is when I needed to be a strong, good dad. I needed to be there for my girls. Lots of diaper changes, lots of feeding, working, things like that. And unfortunately, that's when my health was just getting worse and worse. I was a shadow of the human being I am now. I was tired, I was fatigued, I had brain fog, and my depression just kept getting worse. And my health issues just mounted up as they put me on more and more medication. I had depression, sleep apnea, brain fog, man boobs, Adam always laughs at that one, IBS, class 2 obese. I had gout so bad in my foot, I would use one of those mobility scooters when we'd go to the grocery store. It hurt so bad just to put any pressure down on my foot. They wanted to do surgery on my toe. They were actually going to cut my toe and put like a bearing in the toe or something. Luckily, that was one of my last health issues before I found carnivore. But wait, there's more. I suffered a TIA mini stroke. How long ago was that, Jen? I don't remember any of this anymore. 8 years ago, maybe?
A lot more than that.
I was at home. I was dizzy. I was confused. I went to stand up. Half my face went numb. Jen's like, what's going on? You're acting more unusual than normal. And she called 911. I spent 5 days in a stroke unit. I had squamous cell cancer on my ear. I was diagnosed with Barrett's esophagus. After I had the mini stroke, they're like, what is wrong with this guy? He's in his 30s. He has all these health issues. So they did a lot of tests. And they diagnosed me with congestive heart failure. My ejection fraction was 44. 48% of my heartbeats were premature. I had tachycardia. I had a PFO, which is like a hole in my heart, cardiomyopathy, and congestive heart failure. And I've also had an irregular heartbeat since birth. But it was never an issue, like, until I got older. In kindergarten, I had to wear a big vest to school. I've worn heart monitors probably 100 times throughout my life, so I've always had an irregular heartbeat. I kind of skipped through it, but also I lost my appendix. My appendix burst on the operating room table, nearly killed me if I wasn't at the hospital when that happened. Multiple kidney stones, had my gallbladder removed. My gallbladder was borderline. The doctor was like, oh, we could take it, we could leave it. I'm like, take it out because nothing else you guys are doing is working for me. Maybe I'll get some relief from all of this pain. So lost my gallbladder, lost my appendix. I show all of these things so you guys don't feel sorry for me, but 95% of all of that suffering and trauma I went through was nothing compared to the depression that I went through.
I feel sorry for you.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. The depression was far worse than all of that. I would take that other stuff back. I'm so thankful for the depression going away. So how did I hear about carnivore? I was sick, hopeless, depressed. That was about 886 days ago. I was watching YouTube, and this guy came on, Ed mentioned, Mr. Dante Ferrigno, a real-life hero in my opinion. Dante was sharing his story, and it inspired me when really nothing else would have inspired me. I love Dr. Barry, I love Dr. Kiltz, but a Dr. Barry video would not have convinced me to do carnivore. I had no trust for doctors, but I could see Dante, and Dante was using my words and speaking my language, and he had been through what I had been through, so his story really resonated with me. However, after listening to it, I'm still like, this is insane. You're just going to eat meat. You're going to get bored. I have congestive heart failure. I can't do that. So then I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, watching so many videos. I probably watched 1,000 Dr. Barry videos. I saw Dr. Philip Ovadia, heart surgeon, talking about reversing heart disease with a carnivore diet. And Dante's story really, really inspired me. And so I started carnivore almost immediately after watching all those Dr. Berry videos. I started eating meat. I could wrap my brain around it because I'd done keto before this. And really quickly, results started happening for me. My mood noticeably improved. Like 3 weeks into carnivore, I felt so good. My energy was up. My depression wasn't completely gone, but I had a noticeable improvement in my mood and in my anxiety going down. Then my stomach started to feel better. I remember telling Jen, I'm like, I don't feel like I have a stomach anymore. My whole life, there was always this pain and pressure in my stomach, and that had gone completely away. I was amazed. I was pretty psyched up. But Jen and I, we do homesteading YouTube videos for years now. We get chickens and goats and we do videos on it. So I'm like, this is incredible what's happened to me. So I decided I'm just going to do one video on the carnivore diet, my big 30-day update video. And it blew my mind after I did that video. I had so many people reaching out to me saying, I did the same thing. And the most remarkable thing for me was realizing that carnivore isn't a temporary regimen to drop some vanity pounds. When I started carnivore, I was overweight. I wanted to lose some weight. A lot of people want to start carnivore to lose some weight. I realized this is healing everything. As a side effect of healing your body, you're going to go to its natural weight. But it's so much more impactful than a temporary regimen to lose some vanity pounds. And I started hearing story after story when I did that 30-day video. People were reaching out to me saying, I overcame my lifelong battle with depression. I remember someone saying, I was suicidally depressed for 30 years. 3 weeks on a carnivore diet, it's completely gone. They were mad. They're like, why hadn't someone told me about this before? This is all I had to do. And all that medication I showed you, so much of that medication was for my depression. For years and years, I suffered with horrible depression, and it kept getting worse and worse. I did everything the doctor said. I took their medication precisely as they told me to take it. It never got better. The only thing that ever fixed it or helped with it was when I went carnivore. One of the craziest things for me on carnivore was this, which you see right here. A lot of things happened for me very quickly. After 1 year on carnivore, I'm like, I feel so good now. Before carnivore, I couldn't stand here. I would get dizzy. I would have a chair next to me. We would go to church and I'd get dizzy. Jen would have to hold my arm. I would get fatigued just standing up. And that was my congestive heart failure. My heart was not keeping up with the needs of my body. But after about 1 year on carnivore, I'm like, I'm jumping out of the chair. I'm doing pull-ups. I'm running. I feel like I could run a marathon. I had none of that anymore. And I'm like, when they diagnosed me with congestive heart failure, they said, this is chronic. You're going to have this for the rest of your life. At best, it's going to stay the same. It's never getting better. It's likely it's just going to get worse. So when I started feeling better, I kind of wanted to prove them wrong. So after 1 year on carnivore, I went to the doctor. First time in my life that I went to a doctor's appointment, I had nothing wrong with me. In fact, I'm way healthier than the doctor was that I went in to see there. But I had nothing wrong with me when I went to the doctor. I had my heart echo done. And you can see the notes here. Your heart looks good. There's no evidence of cardiomyopathy. My ejection fraction was 44 before. It was 60 after. 60 for congestive heart failure. That's perfect, by the way. I'm pretty dumb. I was like trying to go for 100%, and the doctor explained to me I would be dead if my ejection fraction was 100%. 60 is perfectly normal. So I had completely reversed my congestive heart failure after 1 year on carnivore. And the last thing, thank you. The crazy thing with all of that too is my lifelong irregular heartbeat also reversed, which still blows my mind. I had that since birth. I've had probably 100 heart tests, every single one of them. Highly irregular, highly erratic heartbeat. It's just a bump, a bump. It's perfect on carnivore. It's completely reversed. There's another little before and after. There's me with the girls. Like, this whole thing is just crazy. It's surreal that I'm even standing here at a comedy club. Where are we? In Ohio, talking about carnivore, but it's completely changed my life. It's changed the life of my family as well. Those are the triplets now. They're all eating a carnivore diet, proper human diet. My daughter Katie is 95% carnivore, but she's eating a proper human diet. My mom's carnivore, my stepdad's carnivore, Jen's been carnivore over a year now. The ripple effect of this has just been amazing. I kind of alluded to that earlier. There is nothing else in the world. I hate to say diet, but there's no diet, there's no lifestyle intervention, there's no medication where you see healing, like all these hands that went up there earlier. And then you have that healing and you end up with a ripple effect because it inspires other people to find healing too. The crazy thing is, I encouraged people earlier to share your story. Your story has the power to save someone's life. And that isn't me exaggerating at all. Imagine if Dante never shared his story. Maybe we wouldn't be standing here today. Maybe I wouldn't be standing here today. Nothing else convinced me. Dante's story is what convinced me to do carnivore. And we filmed Dante for our documentary. Ferrigno Freedom, if you guys aren't watching Dante, he's got an incredible YouTube channel. I might have embarrassed Dante a little bit, but you got to celebrate when people are doing good things in this world, and Dante's an absolute hero to me. We have subsequently filmed all of these people that we probably never would have filmed had that man in the corner, Dante, never shared his story. I think about Bill Knott too. Who here's a fan of Bill Knott? Yeah. We're going to have some clips of Bill later, but I think, where would Bill be right now if Dante didn't share his story and the ripple effect didn't go on from there? I also think too, it's incredible what's happened to Bill, but something that keeps me awake at night and keeps my passion for this going is how many other Bills are there out in the world right now that are completely oblivious to this? And the only way they're going to find out is from stories. So I'll end it with that. I encourage all of you to share your story. As Dr. Baker told me when I interviewed him, be an example to your family. Some people aren't going to listen right away. Some people are going to want you to shut up. I used to be a little overzealous with the carnivore. It's interesting now Jen's doing it herself. She used to make fun of me, like, just chill on the carnivore stuff already. Now she won't stop talking about it. But I encourage everyone to share their story. And I think the last thing I'll end on is that medication I showed you guys earlier, that huge bin with 15 medications on it. I am on 0 medications right now. In fact, when I went to the doctor, I realized the first thing they asked me was, what's your pharmacy? And it literally confused me. I'm like, I don't do that anymore. I don't need a pharmacy anymore. So that's my story. I encourage every one of you to share your story. And again, I just want to say a huge thank you for all of you coming out and supporting this. The next speaker we have, she's not going to get nervous because she's a carnivore, but she's kind of terrified to come up. So let's give a big round of applause to Jen. So this is Jen's first slide. She didn't want to do any slides. She's like, I'm going to just rip. So this is the second slide I put in for Jen. You do have another slide. We'll go to the good slide. Here's your slide. You don't really need it.
Hi everybody, how y'all doing? I gotta look around and make sure I'm okay first before I can start talking. Alright, so I'm Jen. I've been with Kerry for a long time in my life. I'm very appreciative of him. Adam, thank you for all your work. Ashley, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, I can look at you. So yeah, I've been carnivore for a little over a year. I didn't do this because of weight loss. I did it because Kerry was forcing me to. No, just kidding.
We just ran out of time.
I didn't do it for the weight loss. It's been really wonderful. I've lost 60 pounds so far, which I have a long way to go. But I did it because of my family. My why was my family, my girls. I wanted to see them grow up and to see them get married and to be with Kerry. The way I was going is I was going in the wrong direction. I could barely walk. I had severe migraines. I couldn't get up during the day. I couldn't work. My legs were very swollen because of the lymphedema. I blame it on my girls. I have triplets plus one. It all started before I had them. I was severely overweight and just wasn't doing well, so I decided that I just needed to take charge of my life. I was a vegetarian my whole life. I hated meat. I couldn't stand it that they were killing animals for me to eat. I was like, why are we suffering? Why are we making them kill them for us? But now I realize that it's a better way of life. I feel much better. My migraines are completely gone. I don't have any migraines. I suffered with migraines since I was 8 years old. I no longer have a migraine. I might have a headache here or there because of Kerry. But I don't have any more migraines. My lymphedema, my legs, the doctors told me it will never go away. You're gonna have to wear stockings. You're gonna have to take water pills. You're gonna have to do everything for it. You're never gonna go away. So I think Kerry, I asked him to do a couple slides for me. And so my legs have definitely gone down. I'm embarrassed to show it, but it definitely has gone down a lot. I had depression, I had fatigue, I have low self-worth. I'm still working on myself and talking in front of you guys and all that make me very comfortable. But a lot of things have gone away, especially my migraines, the lymphedema in my legs have gone away. And like I said, basically with the weight loss, it's been 60 pounds. I have a long way to go, but that's not why I did it. So I don't know, I had the opportunity to meet Bill. I'm gonna start crying. I love this guy so much. My family was there with me. He's such an inspiration. I love him so much. Sorry. Dang it, before Carnivore I was so bullheaded and I listened to metal and nothing bothers me. And now I'm Carnivore and I cry a lot and I hate it. But I love Bill. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. He is a new brother to me. I absolutely love him. I'm so thankful for my Carnivore family, all of you guys. Ashley, you've been amazing. Like I said, Dr. Kiltz, he walked away. But I love you all. Thank you for everything. Thank you for listening to me. That's pretty much my story. I'm trying to get more comfortable and talk in front of everybody, but thank you for listening and thanks for everything.
And thanks everybody for being here. This is always so good. Like you said, it's a movement. And it's so amazing always to have these events, and I've been blessed to be at several of them because I'll go into it in a minute, but the passion for it really just started and with Kerry and what he's doing, and I had to figure out a way to help and get involved and be part of this community. It's incredible. So I'm 929 days carnivore. I also started a YouTube channel and forced my brother into it after Kerry Mann recommended we do that so we could get on his 24-hour live stream and make an appearance on that. So we don't have a huge channel. We love to cook and we do a lot of cooking videos and different things that are on there. So if you haven't checked us out, feel free. But we love it. And the YouTube part of it, not so much, but the community part of it, absolutely. And we absolutely love it. So we are at a comedy club, and I'm out of time because everybody else took some of the time. I like Russ's joke, but that's okay. So I'll go through my stuff pretty quick, but I did want to let you know, Dr. Kiltz had made a comment earlier about snake oil science. I did hear something, though, that science is good for. They did just figure out something, a really cool discovery. You know the missing socks in your dryer? We pull it out and you can't find the missing socks. Science figured out what happened to those. They turn into the Tupperware lids that fit no containers in your Tupperware. There you go. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. All right. So, no, the thing I wanted to share with everybody is really just my whole life journey. I was never a person who went to a lot of the doctors and seen the doctors. I avoided doctors for most of my life. But all of my life, I was, as they say, festively plump. So that's me. That's the only shirtless picture I can find with me back there. That's my daughter. She was doing the zip line. But I've always been just heavy, overweight. Like I said, festively plump. My nickname in high school was Jelly Belly. That's just the way I've always been. And as my daughter was born, and we continued to eat what you see in the picture there, it just got heavier and heavier. And eventually, as I aged, it caught up to me. My story really began when at about 40 years old, I started losing weight significantly and quickly. And I had no idea why. And it actually scared me to the point where, like, okay, I've got to go see a doctor. I've got cancer. Something's eating me from the inside out. I don't know what's going on. And I found out that I was a type 2 diabetic at this point. Obviously, for years of just eating terribly, standard American diet. Even though my mom raised me to eat very clean and as healthy as she thought, she also, all she knew was the food pyramid that she was taught. And so she did her best. We had grape nuts for breakfast every morning. We weren't allowed sodas until I was in my teenage years. She did the best she could to make sure we're eating the right things. She just didn't know what we know right now and what we're learning. She's carnivore too, I'll get to that in a minute. Type 2 diabetic. So for those who don't know what your A1C is, that's the measurement that they use to determine if you're a diabetic or not. If you're type 2, your body still does produce insulin. If you're type 1, it doesn't. I was type 2, so I still produced insulin. I was losing weight because I was in a bad way. My liver was really in kind of shutdown stages. My kidney was affected. Several of my organs were impacted. And when I found out that, of course, the doctor's advice was, we got to put you on this medicine. Here's what you got to do. I'm going to hook you up with a nutritionist. We'll start talking to you about how to get this corrected. And I was like, whoa, I don't want to do all that. I know the side effects of the medicine. I haven't seen a doctor in years. Let me do something myself first. I don't know what to do, but I've never really changed my diet. I've never exercised. Let me work on that. So my wife, thankfully at the time, was studying because of a gluten allergy she has, and she says, I know what we can do. Let's try this paleo thing. This was 8 years ago, and I did paleo, and I did it hardcore. I didn't know what a carb was. I didn't know like what a potato that is going to affect me, or rice and different things like that. So every time I got mad because I was like, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. What are you talking about? So it was frustrating. But I did it hardcore for 3 months. I mean, if I knew there was sugar in it, if I knew there was a carb, I cut it out best I could, because I was like, okay, that's going to help me. That's going to save my life. By the way, you guys know, I didn't know what diabetes was. You know what the result of diabetes can be? Worst case scenario, death. Loss of limbs, blindness. I had no idea, and I started learning some of this stuff. I was like, okay, I got this. So it scared me, and it got a scared reaction that I got to do something. I want to be around for my family. So, actually saw the A1C drop down significantly. What I didn't know at the time was how addictive sugar was. And so what did I do? I rewarded myself with pizza and an ice cream from Costco, because that was my favorite little pick-me-up snack, and that just started the cycle all over again. But in the back of my head, it's like, I know what to do. I can fix it later on. I can fix it. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And then it was a friend of mine who, from a men's mentoring group that we were in, who just asked a question. I was confiding in him about just how I wasn't feeling good anymore. I knew my diabetes, I was getting consistent readings of 299 on my blood glucose level when I would check my finger in the morning, and I didn't do it consistently because I knew it was bad, so I just did it occasionally. Yep, it's still bad. I knew it was bad. But he said, have you ever heard of the carnivore diet? I said, no, what's that? He told me I could just eat meat and that was it. Easy, all right, I can do that. I loved it, and I loved to cook, and so anyway, we figured it out. Started going down the rabbit hole, found some videos that inspired me. We'll go into that in a minute, but I started seeing something drop. That A1C in 3 months went from, it wasn't quite that high at that time. I hadn't got back up to the level, but it was approaching it. But from 11.1 was my highest. I started seeing the readings going down. I went down to 199, and I remember that one distinctly. The first time it dropped down below 100, and I was super excited. And that was only a couple months in, and I was so excited to see those numbers coming down. And so when I went back to check it again, my A1C was 5.8, and that was only 2 months later. I just knew this was the right course, and that really instilled in me that, hey, this diet thing really has a lot to do with the way you feel, the way your health is, and for me in particular with type 2 diabetes. And now I can say I'm very comfortably not diabetic anymore, not a type 2 diabetic. What did the doctor tell me when we first diagnosed it? It's not reversible. You just have to go on medicines and you manage it the rest of your life. And so to have this answer here, and I've talked to several people, they're lying, and people don't realize that. And how many people today are diabetic that don't know you can reverse this disease with a proper human diet? We've got to get that message out there. So I'm big on the bandwagon of spreading that message, and love being part of this community, and I hope this continues to get out there. So that's where I stand, and if anybody needs diabetic help, that's where I love to be able to express this information to them. So here we go, some pictures of me that after I was at Carnivore for 3 months. I love to cook, so you're gonna see a lot of brisket videos. That's what I do. I now do some meetups I'm from Texas, and I live in the DFW area. That's Nia in the background. She's also a YouTuber that we met at Hack Your Health. And we were doing a DFW meetup right there in that picture. And here I am with Kerry Mann and the team getting to go travel all around America, not all around the world yet, but at least with America, helping to organize these meetups and be a part of this, because it's just an incredible movement that we've seen, and I love this. This is what I love. And so I got to tell one story, because this is the thing that hit me the most. And if you're talking to friends, sometimes it's a little hard to get into it because they think you're crazy and whatever else. But I kind of jokingly, I heard this one time, and it made so much sense, and I love it. Whatever disease it is that you have, but for me, I use the diabetes. If I could get rid of my diabetes and not have to go through blindness, not have to go through limb loss, not have a fear of death, but there's one major catch. I have to eat a ribeye every day. It's pretty tough, right? So it's just one of those frustrating situations that it's like, if I'd have known it was that easy, and so many people get upset because it can be that simple. Obviously there's more to it, but it's really been amazing. So the weight came down. My brother noticed it first. That's why I got him on our YouTube channel, and he's got an incredible story. This was him at over 300 pounds. You should see him now. He's just thriving, doing amazingly well. He'll tell you, even though he lost all that weight, it's the depression and the anxiety that far outweighs, just like Kerry said, far outweighs the weight. He's got rid of his sleep apnea and so many things, but it's the depression and anxiety that he really does. Well, my parents thought we were crazy. In fact, that's the word that they said at first. That was my dad and I. This was a couple of Father's Days ago. And this was a Father's Day here recently. Oh, it's not going to come through. That's all right. He's much skinnier now. And we had some tomahawks together there. So that was really good. But my mom's also carnivore as well. She's lost a tremendous amount of weight. She's gone through 2 knee surgeries. One knee surgery, she was not carnivore. Another knee surgery, she was. And she will tell you the healing was incredibly different on both avenues. So many stories. We're past time, and I know everybody's getting hungry for some lunch, and so I'll give a few lunch instructions here in a minute. But I wanted to, if it's okay, I'll bless the food, and then we'll give a few lunch instructions. Is there anything else you want to say before we go into lunch?
No, you're good.
Okay, last thing I'll say is thank you guys all for being here. There's some really exciting stuff to come after lunch about the documentary. Q&A where you'll get to ask some questions from some of our doctor experts, and this has just been a fun time. My favorite part though is right after that when it's a meet and greet for about an hour afterwards. Please meet your fellow carnivores. And there's a gentleman here. We were talking earlier, and there was an idea in the room, okay, and I got to talk to Adam about this, but we're going to do surveys after this is over. And one of the things that we're going to do, if I talk to Adam and he gives me permission on it, is part of that survey is if you want to meet other carnivores that are in your area, and you give us permission to use your email to do that, we can start networking some people together. Because every meetup we go to, we get every meetup we go to, we say, hey, I didn't know there was that many carnivores in the Columbus area, and look at you all here, right? So, and I know you're not all from Columbus, but for those who are, we can start putting some of these pockets together, which is really, really cool. All right, I'll give some lunch instructions afterwards, but if you'll allow me, I'll bless the food real quick, and then we'll give some instructions. So.